What's up, everyone? We are back in the garden. Got back from the South Carolina garden, the last video I posted. It's been a while since I've done a garden update, and I apologize, but it's been busy. If you noticed from the different range of topics that go up on all my channels, we just opened a branch office for the microgreens in Spartanburg, South Carolina. We are doing the Syncretist Society course and podcast. That's a weekly. We've missed a couple weeks because both of our lives have been a little crazy, but that will continue. I'm now a reseller for Kangen water. That's a magic living reduced ionized alkalized water. So I've been finding out all about that. There are way more studies around that than I thought there were. I am now a part of the resource network in Asheville. That is a national thing. That is a decentralized, new crypto-based, community-based closed ecosystem. That's a cool project. One of my clients actually was the head Asheville lead for that, and it is basically just community-based loans and basically trying to keep all exchanges in the community so that your money never really leaves the network. So they're still figuring out details, but I'm excited to be a part of that. I'll put details about that below if you're in New York, Austin, LA, and Asheville. There's a couple more, Chattanooga, a couple of branch offices, but basically they're just getting a whole bunch of vendors and suppliers on there. Lots of remote work on there, so I could do my coaching on there. Lots of healing arts, lots of body work, lots of acupuncture, massage, basically just trading services for their crypto, which is Source, which just hit the exchanges too, and trying to keep everything decentralized and in the community. So cool project, and I'll inform you guys of everything else going on. But sorry for the tangent. Today is Garden Update Day, where it is was it June 9th? I have no idea what day it is at this point in my life. But it is a hot day, so full shirt, and I tried to get out here when it is not peak traffic, because it is extremely loud out here, as I'm sure you guys have noticed whenever either early morning or at like 4 or 5 o'clock when everyone going back and forth. If there's one thing I could change about where I live, it would be not on a well-traveled road. But we're in front of the Chard and leak bed, and we're just gonna go around and give you guys updates. This is the sort of the end of the spring stuff. So it's been 85, 80 degrees, 90 degrees here. So everything that requires cooler weather is on its way out. We're gonna do a couple of projects and things that I haven't really touched on before. We'll just give you some quick speed through when I actually do it, but things I'm noticing around the garden. So the Chard is at peak right now. It's starting to bolt right here. I'll give you guys close-ups of everything, but leeks, Chard, and lettuce mix is bolting on its way out. True Leaf Market has a good heat wave cultivar of their lettuce mix, which is just all the ones that have been bred to be heat tolerant. We're gonna try that. Peas are definitely on their way out. They're browning and need to be ripped out. And I tend to put peas, or I tend to put the heavy nitrogen suckers where the peas were, because all legumes are nitrogen fixers. So we're ripping the peas out and putting probably some Morning Glory there. We actually, if you can't see it from here, I'll give you a close-up, put some watermelon there and trying to drape some watermelon over the tunnel. The zucchini is actually not doing as well as it usually is. So usually I have zucchini by now, but either I was slow to plant it, or we had a period of just shade and the sun has not been hitting it like usual here, so waiting for the zucchini to pop off. But bunch of zucchini there. I've been having a lot of issues with the squash lady beetles on the zucchini. There's one on here right now. If I can, they look like ladybugs. but they are not your friends because they will eat your squash. So I killed those. There's no nice way around that. All the spring stuff, all the brassicas are bolting. Radish, I'm gonna pull. Purple top, white glove, turnips. Right here, I'm gonna pull. The front bed here gets brutal sun all day, and we just ripped some peas out, and the tomatoes are going to have to be strung up because they're getting pretty tall. I sucker tomatoes until they're about this big. So this guy is maybe 2.5 feet off the ground. So I will pinch the 45-degree angles and the flowers off of tomatoes. I did that last night, so there's none here to show you really. But I get a bunch of weird looks as I'm holding a Joby selfie stick contraption as people drive by. It's kind of funny. But like this little guy here, I'll give you a close-up of that. This 45-degree angle right here. Yeah, so I pinched that off, and obviously that was quick and dirty. So use a sharp scissors or something so you can get a clean cut. Anytime you do that, it is a little bit of a wound, so it creates a stress response on the plant. So usually I try to get them when they're small like that and just pick the nodes off. The more nodes you pick, the more 45-degree nodes you pick off of any plant, the more energy it will divert into vertical growth. So I do that for tomatoes until they're about that tall. I do that for cucumbers. I did a whole video on cucumbers, trick that I learned when I first moved to Asheville from one of the old-time farmers I worked with. I moved to Asheville farming and then quickly realized that wasn't sustainable. Asheville is a top 10 most expensive city. It's not even 100,000 people in the country, so hard to make a living farming. But cucumbers, I believe that is a market more. I will pinch off the first 7 nodes. So I need to attach these guys to the trellis here. I just need to take some little tomato vine clips and pinch them, and then I put the cucumbers underneath these metal trellises for a reason. So I'm just going to hang twine like we did here to hold this, and just come all the way down to cucumbers here. So just so they can, you know, wrap them around like you would a tomato. So the beets are doing fantastic, and all the basil is loving, absolutely loving the heat, and potatoes are doing wonderfully behind them. Potatoes are probably one of my favorite crops. I don't eat a ton of potatoes anymore because I'm pretty low carb, but they're still delicious and they require almost no effort to grow, so I still love them. Beets are doing fantastic, and we have, I'm trying to find one that might be ready. Yeah, a little longer, but beet, golden Detroit. So we're getting there. The purple top white globe radishes, I think we're ready too, because they better be. It's been, they take, I remember why I don't like seeding them. They take forever, but I think they were ready. Oh yeah, okay. There's a big guy. Yeah, purple top white globe turnip. So these are just cool to grow because they just look cool. So I don't like turnips that much, but someone will, and they're fun to grow, and almost act as a cover crop for space that I am waiting for summer use for. Herb beds are doing well from our herb video I did back in the spring. So oregano, and we just spread, or Danny spreads thyme everywhere. So she just puts herbs around everything. So there's mint growing everywhere, which I make sure to put that in containers when I do that. This guy, tomatoes in this bed, and they'll get hung from that. I have to sucker these and rope these up today. I'm going to pinch the flowers off and string them up. This is my last attempt. This bed, you can see the little lines. That's my last attempt at that lettuce. I'm curious how that lettuce does, but this bed is still good. This was my last seeded spring mix, True Leaf Market spring mix lettuce bed. That's doing fine. I was harvesting that once a week for a Gladheart market, tailgate market that the microgreens were at, and got maybe 10 pounds out of that bed total. This is hilarious. The carrots finally took off, and I climb over this bed real quick. This is mint that overwintered, and it's trapped by this box down here, thankfully. So it's in a trapped wooden box, which is why it's contained and this big, but this is ridiculous. This is why you put mint in a container. Carrots are doing just fine. They are fluffy, and this one is interesting. I've never grown celery before because I don't like celery, but there is celery interspersed everywhere. If you can see in between the peas, these guys are celery right here, and they're I'll show you the ones. There's a squash that popped up from right here. So random volunteer squash there. It's a grazzini, it looks like. I'll let it grow because I like grazzini. Basil that we put in the middle, and then little celeries. The celeries we just put everywhere because that's what Danny does, and they seem to be just fine. I didn't plant the peas as a cover crop. They were in the, I used pretty undigested compost for the bottoms of these bins because we just needed organic matter, and then topped it with legit stuff. But there are winter squash, and I didn't think these were winter squash, so I must have labeled them incorrectly. Winter squash, this looks like an acorn. I put 2 in this bed, and the peas came up from the compost. Those are speckled peas from microgreen compost. So I'm gonna have to snip all these off at the base and just get rid of them because they're kind of shading out the squash, and the squash needs it at this point. I could just let them die and act as a green manure, but I'll probably just mow the tops down and let the bottoms fall. And then more carrots. In this bed, I direct seeded carrots about a month ago, again, because the varieties I had here didn't germinate. Those germinated better, if you can see that. So that's better. That's better. That guy. And that's better. So good there. And then the project that I dramatically changed from last year, let's go up on the hill. These guys are doing okay. So I need to water these, but we have down here watermelon, there, herbs, mint. That's a pumpkin that a friend's mother gifted me because she wanted them. That's a candy roaster. And then winter squash right here. So I need to actually direct those down the hill, which is why we put that white tarp there, just to, so they didn't have to carve through the grass so the mowers could get through. But I need to basically just keep them all pointed that way so they drape down the hill and don't take over the lawn like they did that last year. So the active projects we have going on are mowing down peas, ripping out peas where we need to, putting vine clips on tomatoes and cucumbers to help them go up, and snipping the nodes off of the cucumbers and tomatoes to help direct energy upwards because we have a couple different types. I had a last batch of arugula going in. The kale will get ripped out. And that might be it for this month. We weren't too ambitious this year because we both have way too much going on. But the flowers are coming in, so that looks beautiful. You can see the tall sunflower right there. That guy looks good. Danny loves flowers and sunflowers, so we grow as many as we can. There will be tomatoes probably a foot or a foot and a half taller next time. And I put the tomatoes in the same time that Kayla did, the South Carolina house that the last video was on. And hers are literally up here. So difference in sun, different in clouds, different in humidity, all of that. But hers are ginormous and mine are just growing. So something was different. But everything looks good. The onions are going to be pulled because they're sending up flowers right here. As you can see, we have a good amount of onions and leeks. So there's going to be a lot of soup coming. There's going to be a lot of canning and fermenting from the beets. A lot of stock from celery and carrots. We just wanted a couple things that we use all the time, and then I always enjoy the greens because I come out and pick them basically every night. So the chard and the mustard and the lettuces, I come out literally every night and pick them, and the chard is perfect right there. So I'm going to do a whole bunch of mowing these down, trellising everything, and we'll give you an update probably in about a month once summer is in full effect and everything is going bananas. I'll put all the links for the stuff that I mentioned at the beginning of the video, Resource Network, Syncretist Society, Living Water, and all of that down below, or just message me and I will give you specific links to things because I realize there's a lot of information and it can get overwhelming. Until next time, get out and grow something.